Brakes. They are an essential component of allowing you to stop your vehicle when the need arises. These are brakes. Anyway, in this video, we're going to start working on getting our brakes back to, well, no, actually we're going to start tearing these apart. I really want to move forward here, and I'm waiting for parts. I'm waiting for my suspension components that I ordered, and they won't be here for a while because FedEx is having issues. Apparently really big problems. So I have to play the waiting game. So I'm hoping I can get something done. Now, I don't believe these brakes require the same level of attention as the rears. The rear brakes on this car, you have to use a you have to screw the caliper or the piston back into the caliper. So it's a little bit different. Not something I'm used to doing. But anyway, let's start by pulling off the. We're going to pull the caliper off the frame. And a 14mm ratchet on that one. This one's a little bit bigger. Grab my socket set. Today's a weird day. It's kind of warmer than it usually. Well, all right. Yesterday was kind of bitter cold. I'm in New England, so the weather's extremely unpredictable, as it will often be. That can't possibly be right. No, it's the 17mm that I'm looking for. But yeah, I don't know where that is. It must be on an extension or something. Hold on. I've been using my 17mm a lot lately. I feel that it's worth mentioning yet again that my videos are not step-by-step how-to videos. They're more of a diary of the work that I'm doing to my own vehicle. And I want to make sure I point that out because I get a lot of complaints about, you didn't show this. That's what you guys sound like when you complain to me like that. There are books you can buy. There are other YouTubers who make great how-to videos. I am not one of them. I'm sorry to disappoint you. But these are some of the stuff that I do in my videos can be helpful to some of you if you just watch and don't complain. But a lot of it is just, hey, I'm fixing my car. Let's take a look. So this car has its original brakes as far as I know. I don't know any different. I don't believe they've ever been changed. This car I bought with 54,000 miles on it. It was 24 years old when I got it. Now it's 26 years old, and it appears to have all of its original brakes. So what we're doing, so the way these brakes are put together, the caliper swings up on this upper post here, slide, sorry. I believe it swings up. I could be wrong. Let's take a look to see if it does that. Yeah, that's exactly right. So the caliper has to swing up. If you're just doing brakes, that's how you do it. You loosen up the top guide pin, you take the lower guide pin out, and the caliper swings up. Couldn't be simpler. Now let's take a look at these pads. The new brake pads are supposed to come with new clips or spring clips, but we're not going to throw these away until the job is done because we might be missing one, as happened in the rear. They are reusable, but. And the pads that I've ordered for this car, I'm going with Bosch Quiet Cast pads and rotors. Here's the inner pad. This is the one that usually wears out the most. And these don't look bad. They look pretty damn good. There's a lot of life left in these pads, and when I had the car inspected last, they all but said I need new front brakes. He says your brakes will pass, but you're going to probably end up replacing them next year. And look, I mean, the amount of mileage this car gets, these pads have plenty of meat on them. Why are we changing them? Well, it's a good question. I'm changing them because I feel that they need to be done, so I don't have to do any work to this car for the next 30 years. No, really. I'm in here doing, I'm doing a lot of things, actually. If you've been watching the series, I've been doing new shocks, shock mounts, sway bar links, sway bar bushings, front and rear. I'm also going to be doing the lower ball joints on this car, because why not? I'm just kind of getting as much done as I can while the car's laid up for the winter. And that's really what I'm doing. I just want to get as much done as I can, so that I can, because I've decided I'm going to take a little break from doing housework or house repairs. I'm at a good stopping point for that. So I'm diverting my disposable income into this car, so I can better fix it up for my future use. Okay, so we're going to take these guide pins off. These are in really good shape. They're not corroded. You want to make sure that your guide pins are, they should look like this. Maybe clean up the end of this with a wire wheel. That's what I'm going to do. They should have a light coating of grease on them. That is to prevent the caliper from seizing up. Sometimes these, there we go. These are the, yeah, this pad, look at that. I mean, they're not new, but they're not terrible. And I do believe these are OEM pads from 1994. A little word of caution. If you're dealing with original stuff on a car that's more than 30 years old, there's a really good chance there's asbestos in that brake dust. So just, you've been warned. These get replaced, these little clips, these right here, those, you can take those off. Those are getting replaced with new ones. And they come with every set of pads. So these pads, again, they didn't fail the inspection, so yeah, we're also replacing these boots. Normally you wouldn't do that, but I'm replacing them because I feel that it's like one of those while you're in there deals. But these are really good. These are actually, this is good quality rubber right here. So we're gonna take the caliper frame off so we can get the rotor off, and that is 14mm bolt. There we go. Honestly though, brake jobs are the easiest thing in the world to do. I don't know why they charge so much in the auto service places. I really don't. It's a high profit job for them. It really is. It's so easy to do. They can have one of their entry-level techs do the job mostly. And with a few exceptions from one car to the next, they're pretty much straightforward. A lot of times the brake, for example, the brake systems themselves are made by one of a couple of different companies, and may be very similar from one car to the next. And depending on who made the brake system for your car, you know, it could be TRW, could be ATE, Girling. I don't know if they're still around, but you know, there's a lot of different brake companies. That's all they do is make brake systems, and they get shared from one vehicle or one manufacturer to the next. We're going to take these apart. We're going to actually clean these with brake cleaner, and they're going to get a paint job, so they look nice and fresh, so clean. Let's see. Here's the original brake disc. It looks exactly like the rear one, so I do believe these are OEM. The new brake discs that I'm using are going to be coated, which means that we don't have to worry about the brake rotor hat or the edge from rusting. But good time to check our wheel bearings. spins nice and smooth. It should have a little resistance, and it does. There's no knocking, no wobbling. These are good. These are good. So this is going to make doing the lower ball joints just a little bit easier because there's less mass we have to worry about, you know, maneuvering around. I am doing lower ball joints just because they don't need to be done. They're actually fine. One of my viewers said that, oh, he thought they were loose, but no, they're not. They're good. Well, actually, no. The ball joints should have a little bit of resistance to them when they're still good. These are a little floppy. I'll be honest. So they're probably not. They're not new for sure. But they should last. From what I've heard on Miatas, they actually can last for almost the life of the car. You know, 200,000-300,000 miles. Maybe not 300, but you could get 200,000 miles out of these ball joints, and these only have 64,000 on them now. So I'm not going to bother repeating this video for the other side because it's more of the same. I just wanted to do a quick video on how to take them apart. Oh, maybe I should compress the caliper piston while I'm here. On this one, it's not like the rear. We don't have to take a cap off and crank it in or anything. We're just going to use a clamp, or I'm going to use a pair of channel locks. But let's take a look at what that involves. So we want to make sure there's enough room in the master cylinder for that fluid to rise enough for whatever. So we're going to loosen the cap here so that there's no air binding. So there's plenty of room there. We may have to suck a little bit of fluid out of there when we're done. That's okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our channel locks. This should work pretty smoothly. As long as the caliper's not frozen, this should be a fairly smooth and easy process. And these calipers have had no issues at all. In fact, this was a good driving car before I started tearing it apart. Now my channel locks, on the other hand, well, there. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to kind of grip it like this. And we're going to squeeze. I'm going to open these up just one more notch. Okay. There we go. Yep, there it goes. It's pushing in slowly. It is easier if you have a good sized clamp. But there it goes. And now the caliper is reset for the next set of pads we put in the car. Simple. Even I can do it. Okay, so I was talking about brake thickness and how these were like brand new. Well, they're not. This is an example of a pad that is, well, it's wearing unevenly for starters, but you can see this is the inside pad. And you can tell it's an inside pad because it has this little wear sensor on it. When your brakes start to see, this is I'm going to take a little side step here for a minute. A lot of people complain that they need new brakes every time they squeal. And in fact, they don't need new brakes at all. People seem to have it in their minds that if their brakes make any noise at all, they need new ones. And that's how brake pad manufacturers rake in millions, because, well, almost every brake pad can squeal, depending on its composition, depending on a variety of factors. But normally, a pad that doesn't typically squeal, if you get a sudden, like a metallic shriek, it's because this little guy here has reached, the pad material has reached a point where this little metal tab touches the rotor when the brakes are applied. That's what this is supposed to do. It's supposed to make noise when the pads wear down to a certain point. These pads are already basically there. But this is the thinnest pad in the whole car. It's worn like a wedge, which means that the caliper is probably. No, I guess that could be normal. That could be very well normal. I mean, remember the pads, most of the wherever the leading edge is on the rotor, it's going to probably wear a little faster. So, but yeah, this pad's no good. This one, let's find the other inside pad. A lot of times those sensors break off. Yeah, this one here, yeah, almost there. Almost there. So these pads, yeah, this one also wore the same way. And these are the outers. Yeah, I guess these pads are probably due. I mean, let's put it this way. We're not wasting money by changing them out. They're at a point where, you know, they're pretty much EOL, end of life. But it's not every day that you have a car that's almost 30 years old and still running on the original pads. That's not normal. But again, the car has no miles on it, really. So I've already painted this caliper here, and I'm going to go and I'm going to clean up the caliper frame down in the basement and the laundry sink. This way I don't have to waste brake cleaner. But basically, you just take a wire brush off anything loose, use the brake cleaner to get the rest, and it's going to look pretty for a long time because this car doesn't really see a lot of water, so you know, that paint should last a good long time. I got this one apart. I just cleaned that caliper up a little bit, and I'm going to go shoot it with some paint. And funnily enough, the brake parts came today. I wasn't expecting these for a little while, but I don't have everything I need. But I'll show you what I got. So these are the same quiet cast pads that went on the rear brakes. And remember when I stated, if you're paying attention, that you should probably keep some of your old hardware? Well, there's a reason for that. These clips, which are designed like the rears, to keep the pads spread apart. These are stainless steel, and they're designed to keep the pads, you know, spread apart within the caliper frame. These were not included in the Bosch pad set, but we do have these pad retainer clips. So, in fact, let's just double check because, yeah, I'm pretty sure that they were not included. No, they were not included. But we do have another tube of brake caliper slide grease. We will not be using this. I'm using Silglide. That's what I use. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this stuff. It's just I don't use it. I have my own. But anywho, so yeah, that happened. We can't install the brakes yet because I'm going to wait until I do the ball joints and I get the new shocks installed, and then I'll put the brakes in. Having the caliper and the disc removed from the spindle makes it a little easier to work on. A little less weight to deal with, and yeah, so anyway, onward and upward. Still waiting for a lot of parts. Again, they're being held up by FedEx right now. I have noticed a severe decline in interest in these videos. You guys don't seem to be really paying attention, so I've noticed my last video had no comments on it. Not even spam comments, which is really bizarre. Not sure why that is. But usually somebody has to chime in and say something, but hey, whatever. If you're not into this, that's fine. I'm going to keep making these videos because it's fun for me, so, you know. Screw you. No, just kidding. Anyway, so our next video will be installing new brakes, new shocks, one bourbon, and one beer. And then this car will be a roller once again. Assuming we don't get any snow between now and whenever the parts come. Like I said, they're held up at FedEx. I don't know what the hell's going on. Don't know where my parts are. Tracking information seems to have dropped off the map. And we're talking about $400 to $500 worth of parts that I have not received. And the way, see, this aggravates me a little bit. Parts Geek, like most other, like Rock Auto, If you order 1 million parts, they ship them as they come into the warehouse. And so I have gotten partial shipments. These brakes were part of that order, but they were sent under a different carrier. It's different carrier, different warehouse, whatever. A little aggravating. I was hoping they would just put it all in 1 or 2 big boxes and just ship it all at once, but they don't do that. That actually kind of worked out because I was able to get a lot of work done while I'm waiting for. I get some parts in. I do a little bit of work. Yeah, anyway. I can't put the wheel back on until I get the new O2 sensor, which should be here God knows when. December 2nd. I think the O2 sensor will be in December 2nd. I'm going to put that in so I can... but it's easier to do an O2 sensor when the wheel's off because it's done right through the wheel well, like that. Fun times. But yeah, my viewing audience seems to be a varied mix, and not a lot of people want to watch car videos. I respect that. It is, after all, mostly the channel was founded on vintage computing stuff. So, yeah, I kind of, whatever. Anyway. But I did paint the calipers. You got a nice, healthy coat of caliper paint. And that's going to look real nice. I'm going to touch up that upper control arm. And these are the caliper frames. They got a nice coat of paint on those. I marked these with a punch, left and right, but I did that before I painted them. So I don't know where my marks went. They're gone. Wait, I think I see the vestiges of a punch mark here. I used a cold chisel, and I marked them right there, L and R, and I can't see it anymore. So I'll have to figure out which one's which. Oh yeah, the brake hardware kit, the boots and stuff, those won't come in for a little while longer, so that's gonna slow me down a little bit. Anyway, it's all fun. It's all fun. I put a little bit of silicone lube in the sway bar bushings because they were creaking. So I just took a little film of silicone lubricant, and I popped it in the bushing, so they won't creak anymore. That was a little annoying. I got to move it. So what that's going to do, if you have a car with suspension noises like that, especially in the front end, if you get a creak going over like a speed bump and it's like creak, 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 chances are it's your sway bar bushings. They're supposed to grip onto the sway bar and contort as the bar moves up and down. That doesn't always happen. Sometimes, and I've had newer cars that did this, where the bushing... now this is true, not if you're using poly bushings, that's not the case, but if you have rubber bushings, it's not supposed to make noise, but sometimes those bushings will slide. The sway bar will slide or move up and down within the bushing, and it creates a creaking sound. You'll know it when you hear it. And the fix is just take the bushings off, and it's easy to do, and just put a little bit of silicone. I like Silglide myself. This is their brake lubricant. This is a temperature resistant product. But at least that's what I assume. It's designed for that application. But Silglide makes like a universal lubricant. It comes in the same tube as this. Good stuff. I use it on everything. But it's a nice thick paste, and being silicone, it's not going to break down the rubber. Like for example, if I were to use wheel bearing grease, that would actually degrade the bushing. You don't want to use that. But silicone should be okay. And it's a thick paste, so it stays on longer. So, little tidbit of info there. I'm not a professional. I've worked on my own cars for years. I've owned a lot of cars. Not as many as the modern YouTuber. But all of my car repair and owning experiences happened before YouTube even existed. So when I was a much younger person. And so I didn't get to make a fool out of myself on YouTube until now. Anyways, this is gonna look nice when it's done. I have high hopes. You know, if weather permits, I'm gonna give this car a good wash, and then I'm gonna put a cover on it for the winter. Once I get it back on the road, I'll just zip it over to the car wash. I'm gonna wash it real good. Then we'll drive it around a little bit, and then park it, and put a cover on it, and let it sleep for the winter. And then in the springtime, first thing that's going to happen is I'm going to book an appointment at my local detailer. We're going to get this paint buffed up. This is single stage paint. This is not a clear coat finish. Interestingly, though, the nose was repainted. This was painted, and they did use a dual stage paint with a clear coat finish. So I'm not sure if that's good or bad. Until then, good night, and hope you guys had a great holiday, great Thanksgiving. And oh yeah, I gotta take these off. I think I mentioned this before. I'm gonna repaint these brackets with a silver paint and a clear coat finish. I gotta get a bonding promoter on there, like maybe Bulldog. I used to use Bulldog on everything. It'll take these off, maybe tape them off. I don't know if they're riveted or screwed on. But we'll get those taken off. We'll strip away what's left of this chrome. This side looks pretty good, but it's coming off. We'll just redo them both so they look even. And that'll be that. And maybe someday we'll get back to computer videos and I can make my viewers all happy. But this is making me happy, so, you know, that's what it's all about. That's what the channel's for. It's for me. It's my channel. Mine. Anyways, till then.